Hello, it's Mike at TradeWinds RV Center, here to congratulate you on your Catalina Summit 261 VHS travel trailer. I'm going to walk you around it, show you how to use a few things to get the best out of your camping experience. Let's start by talking about arriving at the campsite. A few things to take into consideration when we're parking. On a campsite, we're going to want to leave plenty of room for that awning to come in and out. On our off campsite, besides our slide, I also want you to think about where your power and water connections are going to be. They're both going to be behind your slide. Power far right corner or far rear corner, and the water just behind your tires here. So park accordingly so you can utilize the facilities at the campsite. Once we arrive and unhook our hitch, first thing we do is level our unit. Now, your unit comes with a hand crank. Once you get this close to level here, just about everywhere you go you'll be pretty close. So go ahead and crank that to the right to bring it up, to the left to bring it down. Your door is pretty much center, so I would just go ahead and stick a level right inside your door there. Bring that up and down to your level. Once you're level, next thing we're going to do is stabilize it. So on four corners of the unit, got your 3/4 inch scissor jacks. Got a hand crank here. Crank these down just until we're taut. Remember, our unit's already level. We're just trying to stabilize it. I recommend some jack pads. Stabilizing jack pads put down underneath these that'll protect your feet from dirt, debris, and hot blacktop in the summer. Better distribute the weight. Really good investment. Grab a 4-pack of those from our store with your 10% off coupon. Run these down just until they're taut. Once you've got any resistance, don't lift any higher, because remember, our unit's already level. We're just stabilizing it. Get all 4 of them down. Got our unit level and stable. We can hook up our power and water. It's a big long 30 amp cord. Plugs in the back here. This pistol grip kind of goes in at, say, 11 o'clock, turn it to noon, put your washer on. That'll lock that on there for you. Now, should you need to plug this into a 110, in your convenience pack will be a 30 to 15 amp reducer. Power hooked up, let's hook up our water. Again, our water connection for campsites will be City Water Connect. First and foremost, a water pressure regulator. This water pressure regulator is going to reduce the water pressure to 40 to 50 psi, protecting the lines in your unit. You don't know what water pressure is at different campsites, so always use this when putting fluids into your unit. Hook that up, hook up your hose. Don't turn your hose on yet. Let's find your hot water heater. Over here in your campsite, just left of your entry doorway. Do your hot water heater. And all we're doing at this point, folks, make sure our drain plug's back in there. Get that in there nice and snug. Get some plumber's tape around that, not putty. Putty will gum up on you. 1/8" socket, get that in there nice and snug, then you can go ahead and turn that hose on. After that hose been on for a few minutes, we're going to come up inside the unit and open up our slide so that we can get to all of our water lines. Control panel up here, slide, out. So what we're going to do is we're going to come inside, open up all of our water taps, get them flowing nice and steady, get all the air out of the lines, shut them off when you're done, and then you're all set up for your city water from the campsite. Do you want you to hear something on the slide? As it gets all the way out, it gives you that little noise. It's just telling you the slide's all the way out. No harm. Alright. Now let's say we're going to go camping and we're not going to use city water at a campsite. We're going to go dry camping, or boondocking we like to call it. In that case, we're going to fill up our fresh water tank. No need for a water pressure regulator here. Simply use a hose to gravity fill it. 2 ways to tell it's full. One, there's an overflow valve right here. Or 2, on the inside on that control panel, there's an area where you can see your fresh water. Once that's full, and don't leave this unattended while you're filling it. Once it's full, put your cap back on here, and then whenever you want to utilize that fresh water tank, you'll turn on your water pump. Don't turn on your water pump and hook to the city water. That's already pressurized. All right, we're all set up to camp now with power and water. I'm going to go ahead and walk you back around the unit, beginning up here in the front with your propane tanks. The RNA regulator, simply lefty-loosey to open, point toward the tank you wish to be using. Green means you've got gas. Now you can open them both, put them in the middle, and it'll automatically switch over. However, I like to do one side at a time. That way I know when I'm low, depending on how long we're going to be camping. Battery post. Check them every now and then. Make sure nothing's wiggled loose over time. Battery disconnect. That would disconnect all the battery power to the unit. That will come in handy when I tell you about your carbon monoxide and propane detector. Over here on your off-camp side, pass-through storage. That's a magnet to hold your door up. Storage with hitch work over there. On your slides, they've got a fluid that you can apply to these wipers, these seals. Keep them nice and flexible and pliable over the years. Pick up a can of that from our store. Spray that a couple times a year. On the back again, our city water connection. Here's our black and gray tanks, or our sewer and wastewater. Cable or satellite, to where you plug that in at. Power, and then our low point drains. Back of the unit, you got a spare tire. I recommend getting a cover for that. Keep that from dry rotting in the sun. Got a backup camera. You're prepped for a backup camera. You can purchase a device that sits on the dash of your tow vehicle. Another piece attaches on here from Furion, gives you a nice backup camera for the unit. Over on our campsite, got a nice little storage area here. Our freshwater connection, freshwater drain. That's where we'll dump our freshwater tanks. It's a flue for your furnace. A couple things on that. One, make sure it's never blocked. Two, if you are running your furnace, steer clear of it. It does get hot. Got a vent for your microwave. Outdoor speakers. Again, our hot water heater. If you want to put a TV outside, there's your cable and 110 for that. That is a hole for a hand crank. You can use your stabilizing jack crank to get your slide in and out should you lose power. Beautiful awning. We'll talk about that. You do have a pitch control on these. You can loosen this up and run this up in there. That'll tilt it a little bit for you. If it's raining, you want the rainwater to wash away. And the other side of our storage with your hitch work. That covers everything out here. Let's go take a look on the inside. So coming up in the unit, first thing I always like to point out is your fire extinguisher. Make sure that you and everyone that's camping with you knows the fire extinguisher is located by the entry doorway in case of an emergency. Coming up the wall, a couple 110s and charging ports. And our control panel. Peel that protective guard off there. No need for that anymore. And there we go. Starting over here, fresh tank, shows a little bit in it. Black tank, gray tank, showing empty. We'll just dump that freshwater tank, make sure it's completely empty. Here's your battery, showing fully charged. Here's you can connect to Bluetooth, and you can run your slides and lighting from your Bluetooth phone. Interior and exterior lights. Here's where you turn on your water pump. Here's where you turn on your water heater. On your awning, you're only going to want to extend that out until that flap falls down to 90 degrees and you can see your bar. If you're to hold that down, it'll start running itself up backwards, so keep an eye on it. When you're running it out, only run it out as far as you need to. Again, if you hold it down, it'll start running up backwards onto itself. Next to that is going to be slide control, which we already utilized over here. Then you're bringing your awning in. Again, make sure that comes all the way in. Shut off our exterior lights and tell you that slam locks work best when gently slammed. Alright, coming into the unit, over here we're all prepped for TV. Just when you do plug a TV in here, make sure that green light is on before you run your digital channel scan. So that's going to be your sound system. We'll come off Bluetooth to FM, indoor or outdoor, or both. AM, FM, optical, auxiliary, and Bluetooth. Nice sound system. JBL, of course. Fire smoke alarm is right there. Individual one-touch lighting above these. Your sofa will simply jackknife down. You have a cup holder or lift up from the front. A little storage underneath there for extra blankets. Another sleeping quarters. Another place you can sleep is the dinette. You can lift that table up, remove those metal bar legs, and run your tabletop along that. Put your back cushions on top. Another place to sleep. Coming over here on the wall. Alright, so up here's where we're turning this on. We're going to go into the mode of straight to AC. Hear that crank on. Now you'll notice when I go back through to off, AC shuts off rather quickly. Now I'm going to go in and turn on the thermostat, or excuse me, the furnace. Hear that kick on. Now I shut the furnace off. You'll notice it's going to take a few minutes to run through before the furnace fan actually shuts off. So here's your fan. You can make it low or high. Over here is where you can change our temperatures. Come back into our bathroom. One touch lighting here. Excuse me. Come on here. 110 with GFCI reset. You have a hand crank open. Exhaust vent here. Keep an eye on your plumbing. This is an access panel for it. Bunk beds have their own individual lighting and charging ports. And of course there's storage underneath here. Big pantry. Access panel to your hot water heater here. Fridge controls are down in the fridge area right there. This is a safety strap, safety latch. Put that on when traveling. Self-explanatory microwave, fan and light above the cooktop. This glass top makes an excellent backsplash. Turn on your panel light, turn that to high, hit your spark, and that's how they'll light up. Just that easy. Panel light off. This is a battery disconnect for the fridge. If you want to defrost your fridge and not have to shut off power everywhere else, you can shut that off right there. Down below your cooktop is going to be your breaker box and fuses. A ton of 15s in there, a couple 40s. To the left of that is your carbon monoxide propane detector. That is 12 volts. The reason I mentioned that's 12 volts, always running off your battery. So if you are out dry camping, nothing plugged in charging your battery, and you're going to be gone for the day, use that battery disconnect up front to keep this from running your battery down. I want to come back into the bedroom here. Charging ports and all of our lighting is one touch. You do have a overhead light here, which is controllable from here once you get them all on. There's some storage back here. Emergency exit window. There we go. Let's act like we're getting ready to leave the campsite and close the unit up. I like to start by shutting off my interior lights. Then I can see any other lighting that I need to walk through. Any other accent lighting I need to shut off. And lastly, I'm going to say doors and drawers. You can turn back on our interior lights here because we can shut it off from here. Walk through, make sure all doors and drawers are closed. Nothing's going to impede your slide from coming in. Alright, so we're just going to go up here to get in on the slide. Again, making sure nothing's in the way. sure this door here is closed. Exit the unit. Shut off our interior lights. Bring your steps up. If we're dry camping, we're going to come up over here, dump that freshwater drain. If we're at a campsite, we're going to unhook our water, our cable, our power, bring up our stabilizing jacks, and head on up to the dump station. Now at the dump station, park accordingly. Your dump again is going to be all the way in the rear of the unit here. That 10-foot hose comes with your convenience pack. Hook that up and pull your black handle. Now that's going to be your sewage. And that sounds like it's no longer draining. Go inside, make sure it shows empty. If it is, close that up and pull your gray tank. Now while your grays are draining, go ahead and dump your low point drains. If you're done camping for the season, we come over to our hot water heater. Lift up on our pressure release valve. Be careful, it's going to dump a lot of hot water out of there. But you're going to get this stagnant water up out of here. And then pull your drain plug. One quick note on your hot water heater, if it doesn't seem to be working, just come out here and see if either one of these reset bubbles are pushed out. If they are, simply press them back in. So it can be tricky with one hand. Make sure you secure that for travel. Alright, if your low points are done draining, go ahead and close them back up. Close your gray up, take your sewage hose, and conveniently and sanitarily store it right here in your bumper. Again, we thank you guys so much for your purchase. Hope you enjoy this Catalina for many years to come. Happy camping.